are learning about life cycles in science right now. Remember, a life cycle is starting as a little baby and then turning into adult, and then that animal has more babies and it starts over and over again. Like a little cycle goes all around. Today we are going to focus on a butterfly's life cycle. We have our net with our butterflies over there, and we're watching them go through the life cycle right now. But what is their life cycle? A butterfly has 4 main parts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1 is the egg. Number 2 is a caterpillar. 3 is a pupa, and 4 is a butterfly. And I want us to use our hands to help us remember this. So put out your hands, and we're going to stretch our fingers, and we're going to start with an egg. The egg is going to be just a little fist. You know a chicken egg? It's just small. It's just a circle, so we're going to show that with our fist. Next, we're going to use our thumb and be a little caterpillar. You can scooch around. You can go all the way around on the leaves and on the branches. And then the caterpillar, remember, it curls around itself. It crawls around and it turns itself into a pupa, also known as a chrysalis. So this is a pupa, and then after a long amount of time being in there, boom, it turns into a butterfly. And I want us to be able to remember this, so I'm going to have you watch Miss Erica. And then we're going to do it together. And then finally, I'm going to let you do it all by yourself. So first off, watch Miss Erica. First, we have the egg. It's a little tiny egg. And then second, it goes into a little caterpillar where it can walk around with its little legs. Third, it's going to be curled around and turn into a pupa. And after a long amount of time, boom, it's a butterfly. All right, do it with me. So what's the first one again?
Egg.
Egg, good job. And the egg is just a little fist. And then, it turns into a little caterpillar when it grows up. And then it's gonna wrap around, and what's this one called?
Pupa.
Pupa, or chrysalis. And then after a long amount of time, boom, it turns into a
Butterfly.
butterfly. Good job, class. And now I want you to do it all by yourselves. So Miss Erica, she's not gonna use her hands. She's just gonna point to the board and say the words. And when I point to the board and say the words, I want you to show me what it looks like. The first one is an egg. What's that one? Good job, it's a fist. Next, we're gonna move our, good job, thumb, and it turns into a little caterpillar. And then it's gonna turn into a pupa, wrapping our hands around it. And after a long amount of time, it becomes, boom, a butterfly. Good job, class. All right, class, next we are going to work on our butterfly words. Our butterfly words are going to talk about the parts of a butterfly. We know some of these already because they're similar to a lot of other animals. So these on the butterfly, I'm gonna have you tell me what they are, and then I'm going to write them down, and then we will say it together. There's some tricky ones that we haven't learned yet, and I'll help teach you those. But first off, what are these?
Eyes.
Eyes, good job. It's going to be the eyes. So they help the butterfly see. I'm gonna say it, then you're gonna say it. This is the butterfly's eyes. It's the butterfly's
Eyes.
Good job. What are these? When you see on a butterfly and they're moving, remember our hands?
Wings.
The wings. So when you have your little butterfly, after remember it went boom out of the pupa, when you have your butterfly, what it flaps is its wings. Those are the wings. And this is something, we've seen this before. Remember when we talked about the little tiny ants? When they had little tiny ants, what were those things coming off their heads?
Antenna.
Antennas. Good job. That's the antenna. So we have 3 here. We have the eyes. Say it with me. Eyes. We have the little tiny antennas. Say it again. Antenna. Good job. And finally, I'll say it, then you say it. We have the wings. Say it with me. Wings. Now we have the body of the butterfly. It's not just one part of the body. You know how we have our chest and we have our legs. That's not just one part. You can say it's our whole body, but we have our chest and our legs. The butterfly also has 2 parts. They have this part, kind of like us. Remember your tummy? Sometimes it's called the abdomen. Say that with me. Abdomen. So we have the abdomen, and that's very similar to us, but what's this? It's not the butterfly's legs. This is something called a thorax. I'm going to say it one more time and you'll say it with me. It's a thorax. Say it with me. Thorax. This is the very bottom part of the butterfly's body. We're going to learn more about that in our story next. It's the thorax. Now, we're going to look at everything that we just said about the butterfly. Right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different parts of the butterfly. And I'm going to point to them, and I want you to see if you can remember them. What's these?
Wings.
The wings. Good job. And just like the ants, what are these?
Antenna.
Antenna. And we all have them. What are these?
Eyes.
Eyes. Good job. And remember, this is just like our tummies. What's that one called?
Abdomen.
The abdomen. And then our big word that we just learned is the
Thorax.
thorax. Good job, class. Let's think back to the story that we read. So we're talking about butterflies, but butterflies come from caterpillars. Can you show me what a caterpillar looks like? Good job. So it's the egg, then the caterpillar. So the caterpillar in our story, he wanted to change into a pupa. What did he have to do before he changed into that? What did he do?
Eat a lot.
He ate so much, didn't he? Look at all these foods that he ate, and he ate even more than these. He was very hungry. The author did something to tell us that we would know that he was going to eat more. But first, who can remind me what an author is?
The person who makes the story.
Good job. The person who writes the story. And do they just put in silly words? They're like, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this.
No.
No, they put words in that are very important. So, something that is reoccurring, remember that word reoccurring, it happens over and over and over, is the author, he says, but he was still hungry. The caterpillar ate and ate and ate and ate and ate, but he was still hungry. And they ate more and more and more and more, but he was still hungry. So when you hear the author say, but he was still hungry, does that mean that the caterpillar is gonna go to sleep?
No.
Does it mean that the caterpillar is gonna go to Six Flags?
No.
No. Does it mean that the caterpillar is gonna go off to work?
No.
No. What does it mean?
He's gonna eat more.
He is gonna eat more because he is still hungry. So sometimes authors do things like that. They give us certain phrases that are actually clues into what's gonna happen next in our book. And I want us to think about it. Now, I'm going to tell you a sentence, and I'm going to have you tell me what happens next. Miss Erica ate a salad, but she was still hungry. What's going to happen next?
She's gonna eat more.
I'm going to eat more. And what if Mr. Elephant went to the store and he bought some food, but he still had more money? What's he going to do?
Buy more.
He's gonna buy more. If the author gives us these clues, we can know what happens next. So I want us to try it. So we're gonna get into our table groups and we are going to write a but still story. I'm gonna give you a little bit of an example. Mr. Elephant went to sleep for 20 minutes. But when he woke up, he was still tired. So then Mr. Elephant took another nap for 30 minutes. When he woke up, he was still tired. Is Mr. Elephant gonna have to sleep more?
Yeah.
Yes. Mr. Elephant took a nap again for 4 hours, but he was still tired. But then Mr. Elephant went to bed for a full 8 hours, and when he woke up, he was all good. I just said Mr. Elephant was all good. Does this mean that he's gonna sleep more?
No.
No, because I didn't say, but he was still tired. So I want you all to work in your groups and make a but he was still story. So you're gonna need a character, like the caterpillar, Mr. Elephant. You're gonna need but still what? Were they still hungry? Were they still tired? Were they still working? And then you're gonna have to make sure that you have an ending. Because when Mr. Elephant woke up, he was all okay. And the very hungry caterpillar, he wasn't still hungry. He then had to go into his pupa. So remember those three. You need a character, you need but he was still something, and then an ending. All right, ready? Go. Today we have learned so many words about butterflies. We have to take the ones that we learned yesterday and from last week and the words we learned today, and we are going to work in partners and make a science butterfly story. You can make the story about whatever you want, but you have to include words from our lessons, our science words. You have to make sure that you use 3, 1, 2, 3 to write your story. But I'm not just gonna leave you hanging. I'm gonna help you by giving you the words that we need. Our first word is gonna be egg, remember the egg. And then our second word is gonna be caterpillar. Our third word is gonna be pupa. And then into the adult, which is the butterfly. And then we have, remember, it flaps with its wings. It has its little antenna. It has its eyes that helps it see. Just like our tummies, we have abdomen. And then last, our big word that we just learned, thorax. Remember, we just defined that, thorax. So you can take any of these words. You don't have to use all of them, but you do need to use 3 to write a science story. So we are going to get into peanut butter and jelly groups. So remember, stay seated at your desks. I'm gonna come around with our cards. Remember, if you're with peanut butter, then you're jelly. And if you're with mac, then you're with cheese. And with salt, you are with pepper. So remember, stay in your seats. I'm gonna pass around the cards, and then you'll find your partner and write your story.